mooing. I don't. Hello everyone, I'm Kellis Jelly and welcome to Kidnapped Girl, a perfectly normal game about perfectly normal things. Let's jump right in. No hesitation, let's just go. The day I turned 17, I kidnapped a girl. As we all do, the coming of age. Her name was Alice. Sociability was not the main feature of her character. In class, she was always quiet, especially with no one to talk to. A girl like her was not difficult to pull out for a date after school. In the process, she readily agreed to come home with me, where I gave her some juice laced with sleeping pills. Alice fell asleep in just a few minutes. It's my first kidnapping. Not a bad beginning. Everything went according to plan, although with the dosage, I went too far. I lived with my uncle. His house was too big for just the two of us, so some of the rooms were empty. My uncle said for a long time that he wanted to rent them out, but he didn't post any ads. So I used one of them as my torture chamber. Of course, he didn't know that. Edward was the name of my uncle. He rarely went into the empty room. The only keycard to the room was settled in my pocket. I don't enjoy how we're using past tense for your uncle. Did you murder your uncle? Are we a murderer? Edward always came home late, so today I had plenty of time to have fun with my... I'm not saying that. Good. What if I don't want to? What if I don't want to? Okay, it's giving Doki Doki Literature Hour, the work you're forcing me to save right now. Don't like that. When I locked myself in the room with Alice, I felt a wave of heat sweep through my body. I'm feeling a wave of heat, and it's not the same wave of heat, I don't think. My hands were sweating as I began to crawl along the rope. My gaze darted hungrily from the sharp blade to the white skin of the motionless body and back again. I licked my lips in anticipation. Simultaneously with the excitement, bad thoughts came to my head. I looked back at the closed door. Did I make a mistake? Did everything go well? I shook my head, shaking off my misgivings, and set about the task I had long dreamed of. You're 17. How long has this been a dream? How long have you needed therapy? The only thing that matters now is that it's just the two of us, that we won't be disturbed for the next few hours. I was getting excited about what was coming. Putting my tools aside, I sat down next to Alice, patting my hand on her thin, fragile leg. I ran my hand up her thigh, touching the edge of her short... Cut the cameras. Cut. I need to take off her. Otherwise, it will only prevent me from enjoying the work done. Do you know how to talk? Because I feel like you don't know how to talk. Because a lot of the sentences that you're saying, a lot of the words you're saying, in the order that you're saying them are incomprehensible. Button by button, I slowly removed her shirt and froze in disbelief. Hello? Where did they go? Wait, I wasn't reading. There were bruises and other signs of beatings under her clothes. I didn't hit her, so I couldn't have left those bruises. Then where did they come from? Is she being beaten at home? After all, she was only beaten where the clothes could hide the bruises to avoid being seen by strangers. It seems that Alice was regularly bullied. In some places, there were fresh bruises filled with blood, and others disgusting blackened spots. The older ones were slowly dissolving. I can't even imagine how hard and painful it is to move in this state. But she came to school every day and even smiled in rare conversations with her classmates. Perhaps she decided to go with me so that she could return home as late as possible. These thoughts made the desire to hurt her disappear, but I didn't change my mind, no. That strange feeling in my heart was probably not pity, but disappointment. After all, psychos like me can't feel pity and can't empathize with others. Are you a psycho if you consider yourself a psycho? Or is that something that as soon as you become aware of, it no longer is... I don't know, can you be aware of your own psychosis? Or if you're truly psychotic, are you so far gone that you don't recognize it? I feel like you just contradicted yourself, my guy. When I kidnapped Alice, I wanted to enjoy her suffering, to see the first drop of blood on her smooth white skin, and now I can't get what I want. Her body is covered in injuries without my effort. It's like asking for a sweet birthday cake, but getting a stale, moldy cupcake. Bro, you don't talk about someone's body like excuse me? She's not a moldy cupcake, my guy. She's a person. Chill. How can I fill Alice with in horror when she's already feeling bullied? After thinking about it, I decided to hide all the torture items that could indicate the real reason for the abduction. So when Alice wakes up, I'll send her home and find a better victim next time. That's crazy! That is a sweet-ass room you got there. Do you wanna, I don't know, you wanna abduct me? That's a pretty sweet freaking bedroom you got there, my guy. I wanna sleep in that bedroom. I mean, ask if she's alright. As soon as she regained consciousness, I rushed her, feigning concern. Oh, you're awake. Are you alright? Does it hurt anywhere? When we were sitting down, you suddenly fainted and I... However, Alice was in no hurry to show excitement. Instead, she got up, looked around, closed her eyes for a second, and then looked directly at me. I don't like where this is going. What? You put me to sleep. Those words froze me for a second. How did she know about that? Oh, what are you talking about? I told you you just passed out. Whatever language that is, it's distracting. No. No. Me. I've been put to sleep more than once, so I know the feeling when I start to fall asleep after a sleeping pill. Put to sleep? I was more taken aback by this news than when Alice said that I had drugged her. Never mind. Why did you put me to sleep anyway? Did you do something to me? Alice touched herself between her legs without lifting her skirt. Hey, I didn't do anything wrong to you. She took her hand away. You're right. Then why? I told you. I know you put me to sleep. Stop dodging the question. I didn't know what to say. The awkwardness of the situation increased with every second. I didn't know what to do or what to say. It was necessary to change the subject urgently and try to take control of the situation. Where did you get the bruises? So you undressed me. Yeah, bad call on your part, dude. The worst possible call. You fucked up. Ah, I get it. Where are the photos? What photos? The photos of my body. No, I didn't undress you to take pictures of you, trust me. Then why did you put me to sleep? That is not true at all, and you still haven't answered my question. I will only tell you after I hear the truth. I hesitated. Should I tell the truth? It's something like, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to torture you at home, but it's okay, I've already changed my mind, so you can go home. Oh, no, this is nonsense. Then I'm not sure if it will work, but it's worth a try. Lowering his eyes and stammering, he pretended to be very confused. The only way to get out of this situation, which would go without suspicion, is to come up with a sufficiently touching story. What could be touching about whatever you're about to say? As far as I know, girls are much more emotional and romantic than boys. I like you. And for long, I have... What are you saying? These are not the order words are supposed to go in. And for long, I have had the desire to kidnap a loved one, so I decided on my birthday to make myself a gift. Rubbing my hand, I continued to stare at the floor without looking up. You think that's gonna be touching? You think that she's gonna like that? Who would believe that? That's what I'm fan. Wait, you love me? I nodded uncertainly. Someone liked me? The recent wariness and anger disappeared smoothly. She smiled and her eyes lit up. It worked. Well, my lie worked. Although I must admit, I did not expect much success, and it was already preparing to reduce the kidnapping to a mocking joke. To laugh in her face, call her a naive fool for believing that such a handsome man like me could truly ask a mild-mannered girl like her out, and then rudely take her to the door after dealing with several insulting phrases thrown at me. After this farewell, it is not that I could just go back and talk to her anytime soon. I must admit that Alice is not as simple as it seemed. I didn't manage to deceive her the first time, although I'm an experienced liar. But how could she immediately believe like I loved her? While I was wondering at her naivety, she thought about something for a couple seconds in silence. It turns out that I was kidnapped by my classmate, who is also crazy. Her voice has become more soft, I would say even melodious. What did you want to do next? Well, I wanted you to let you live with me, probably. Probably. You didn't think this through, did you? There's nothing funny about it. I frowned slightly, which confused my former captive. I'm sorry, I just always thought you were incredible. You have excellent grades in all subjects, you get prizes, you're good at sports. I've never thought a guy like you would like me. I didn't think you were a bit stupid. Huh? Oh, so she's saying that I'm stupid for liking her? I didn't think you were a bit stupid after all. And this is said by the person who was kidnapped. How dare you? We laughed. The tension had disappeared. Alex relaxed. Alex? I'm gay now, I guess. Whoa. Alice relaxed and began to behave more freely and at ease. At school, she usually doesn't attract attention. During recess, she rarely leaves the classroom, sitting at her desk with her head down or silently looking out the window. In general, an inconspicuous gray mouse. I don't think we should be comparing women to mice. I don't think that's what we should be doing. And now I even catch myself thinking that she has a very nice smile. School, hobbies, music, we moved smoothly from one topic to another, consciously not thinking about the kidnapping and did not notice how time flew by. The longer we talked, the more free Alice felt. She listened to me with genuine interest, sometimes even making various jokes in my direction and laughing sincerely. I listened to her stories and sometimes I couldn't help but smile. I get the feeling that Alice, who goes to school with me, and the Alice who is sitting next to me are two different people. I never thought Alice could be so sociable and happy. The next few hours passed quickly. We chatted about all sorts of nonsense. I was an idiot. It's late. I think it's time for you to go home. Your parents are probably already worried. My words made Alice suddenly sad. Her smile and the sparkle in her eyes were gone. It's like she's back in the ghost mask she always wore at school. I don't have parents. Sorry, then who do you live with? With my stepmother and her boyfriend. She almost hissed the last words through her teeth. It was immediately clear to me that things were not going well at home. My guess was confirmed. The family does not favor her very much. Alice continued to sit next to me, not wanting to leave. I was silent and just looked at the time on my phone. Edward should be back soon, and if he sees Alice, I will have to explain. He's a good man and will be happy if I bring a girl home, but Alice is not my girlfriend. I just kidnapped her and tried to torture her. Bind and hide in another room with, why is that the first thing that comes to mind? That's crazy. Bind and hide her in another room with a gag in her mouth is one thing, but to explain what Alice was doing and how we met, I didn't want to. Seeing my confusion, she stopped. Alice glanced at me briefly and then for a moment pursed her lips and with a sharp exhale stood up. I'm sorry, you don't live alone and it's already late. She went to the door with a noticeable reluctance. This is a dope house! It was raining outside. Before leaving, Alice turned around, saying the last words. You know, I wouldn't mind if you really kidnapped me. You're much comforting. That's crazy? And she left. So it would have ended, but a couple of hours later, Alice returned. Huh? What? Excuse me? I'm a professional. Clive, please kidnap me. After voicing her insane request and holding her bag with a trembling hand, she smiled and cried. The smile on her face was just an artificial dam, ready to collapse at any moment under the influx of emotions, unable to contain the accumulated sadness, loneliness, and despair. What happened to her? Why is she crying? Such questions did not linger in my mind for long because the way she looked now, her pain drew and beckoned. Her vulnerability and tears seemed to cry, "Lock me away from people and do what you want to me." On my doorstep stood not a sad classmate, but a victim begging her executioner to put her out of her misery. The sight of her made me want to... What? Why? 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 A familiar wave of excitement ran through my body. My breath quickened. My hands trembled with impatience. I wanted to lock myself in with her again and run the blade over her soft skin. I wanted to see how her tears would flow. I need to get through this. I need to get through this. Do you want to be kidnapped? Haven't you considered the possible consequences? Poor Alice. I couldn't help it. I roughly grabbed her hand and led her to the same room. We were alone again. All that remains is to take a knife and... Wait, Clive, you want to do this to me? Even though I'm a used product? That's crazy. That's crazy, the thing to say about yourself. What are you talking about? Alice told me everything. She worked as a prostitute. I wanted to save money so that after coming of age I could immediately leave my stepmother and her boyfriend and live separately. Her stepmother's lover liked to molest her, but Alice always locked herself in her room. Today when she returned home, this man, as always, was drunk. Her stepmother was not home, and he tried... She barely fought back and ran away from home, returning to me. She had nowhere else to go. Now you hate me? I'm sorry I did it. If I'd known someone like you would like me. Her tears started to flow harder. But please let me stay with you. I'll do anything. Anything. Those two words stuck in my head. Will she consent to be the victim? Moving on. While I was thinking about this, Alice continued to stand, waiting for my answer. I couldn't find any words to say, so I hugged her instead. This embrace was a fleeting impulse, which for some reason I instantly obeyed. And even though I didn't expect it for myself, at that moment, this hug seemed the only right thing to do. This is how we started living together. Clive, are you still awake? Why is his uncle, Daddy, why is his uncle a father? A father figure with a figure. Hi. Hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hi, Edward. I need to prepare for tomorrow's test. Good. Just don't overdo it, because I won't ask you to give me high marks. It's enough for me that you're happy. Yes, I understand. Well, I won't bother you. He didn't notice anything. Great. I locked the door and went to the balcony. Alice, you can come in, but quietly. Did everything go well? Yes. Initially, I wanted to put Alice in one of the empty rooms, but she was afraid that my uncle would still notice her, so she stubbornly demanded to spend the night with me. My room was spacious, so it was easy to lay another mattress. In theory, Alice would go to school with me. Edward's always left the house earlier, so there wouldn't be any problems. On Saturday, we would stay at home, and on Sundays, Uncle did not work, so Alice and I would just walk late until Edward falls asleep. The only problem was that my uncle could come into the room at night, so I started locking up. Since then, I've had many opportunities to talk to Alice. Maybe it's because we started living together. At school, she followed me everywhere. Why are you following me? What should I do? If you will be with me, you will have various surprises. What are the surprises? I'm not going to give in to such temptations. She came close to me and whispered in my ear, "Even if you want to do something with me, it's nice." You're kidding. Hey, don't make such an indifferent face. Alice's conversation and behavior turned me on. That is a child. That is a child. No. After a while, I decided to finish what I started. Saturday. I don't know if I can do this. This was a mistake. This was a mistake. This was a mistake. I thought it was gonna be like a Doki Doki Literature Club vibe, where she was gonna go kooky on me, where I was gonna be kooky, but then she got kookier, and it was gonna be like a little bit of like a horror game, but I was not ready for this. Was not ready. I can't. Alice, can I tie you up? At this time, she was chewing chips, and when I asked her about it, Alice froze with her mouth open. So will you let me? Huh, you finally decided to show me your secret fetish, huh? Well, be glad, for Alice is in a good mood today. I knew that she would not refuse me. During the time we spent together, it was easy to see that Alice had fallen head over heels in love with me. Now she was docile as a trained dog. That's not how we talk about women. That's not how we talk about women. We talk about women. Before proceeding with my plan, I put a diaper on the bed. What do you mean, a diaper? Like a literal unfolded baby's diaper? Or do you have is the translation from the original language not, is it not giving? Is it not giving? What do you mean, a diaper on the bed? Why don't you just get black or red sheets? I don't know, a fan. And then I tied Alice up, unbuttoned her shirt, and taped her mouth shut. No resistance. On the contrary, she put her hands in the loops, waiting with interest for what would happen next. That's crazy! Just in case I turned up the music louder, the neighbors don't need to hear all the screaming. We don't need to scream. We don't need to scream. We don't need to do all that. As soon as the blade of the knife flashed in my hands, Alice twitched, but immediately fell silent, probably thinking it was a joke. How wrong she was. I put the knife to her slightly pale skin, which had already removed almost all of the bruises. There was only one small movement of the hand left. Bro! Pushed down, started bleeding. Mooing! I don't think that's the word you were looking for. I don't think that's right. Resistance. Fear. She tried to get out, but I tied her up tight. Just as I was about to make another cut, I felt something was wrong. Why? Why don't I feel pleasure? I've always wanted to do this, so why? I am a fucking psychopath. Yes, honey, louder from the rooftops with your diaphragm. What the hell have I done? I dropped the knife and ran out of the room, leaving Alice bound and alone. At that moment, I realized with horror that I no longer wanted to hurt her. What the hell is wrong with me? I've been dreaming about this, dreaming about getting a knife, and I remembered the trail of blood running down Alice's chest, and I suddenly felt sick, as you should. My stomach felt sick, my throat felt tight, my body was bent in convulsions, I could barely contain my vomit. Pushing the nausea away, I leaned my back against the wall and slid down. Alice. Looking at this girl, I saw a person filled with pain. I often met such people on the street. Their blank stare, quiet voice, and hesitant movements always made me want to pick up a guitar string and tighten it around the poor person's neck. That's not the response. Moving on. Then why do I feel so bad now that I'm so close to realizing my dream? I'm crazy, crazy, crazy. Yes, honey. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I have neither pity nor compassion. I'm a fucking maniac. With every such thought, I would slam my fist on the floor with a vicious frenzy, and my eyes would fill with tears. I can picture that perfectly. It's giving, like, man cheated on his girlfriend, fiance, wife, and then the wife found out, and, like, that level of tantrum is what just... I don't remember how long I sat there, maybe a minute, maybe an hour. In a fit of anger at myself, time simply ceased to exist. Calming down a little, I got up from the floor. I needed to untie Alice. After this, she will probably leave me. It's better this way. I don't want to see her again. I don't want to hurt her anymore. After returning to the room with a first aid kit and providing minimal medical assistance, I untied it. You can leave, the door is open. Alice didn't move and just looked down in silence. Then her eyes got wet. So you did this on purpose to kick me out. I'm right? Not at all. Then why did you do such a terrible thing to me? I don't understand. You really want to get rid of me. No. Yes. She started shouting and throwing dirty words at me. I just waited in silence for her to calm down. You son of a... Then why did you hurt me? Because I'm a psychopath. I've always wanted to do this. In the beginning, I kidnapped you just to torture you. Then why did you stop? I don't know. I don't enjoy it. I always thought I wanted to hurt someone, but it turned out that this was not the case. Damn, I'm such an idiot. We didn't say anything else. We just sat across from each other in silence, their eyes downcast. After a while, Alice broke the silence. Clive, so you don't like me? I raised my head and looked at her. She looked more or less calm now. No, I never liked you. I got a slap in the face. You lied. I hate you. We didn't talk for the next few days. I didn't kick her out, and she didn't leave after all. This is a banging house, dude. Is your uncle rich? Is he that hot and also rich? Can I get your uncle's number? For scientific purposes. I'm married. I'm married. One day, Edward came home early from work. I left Alice locked in my room. You know, Clive, I've noticed that our food has started to go missing more often. Oh, it's because of me. Recently, I read on the internet that a sports person needs to consume a lot of calories. That's sometimes why I eat for two. Here's how. You're right. We were still eating when Edward spoke again. By the way, Clive, I also noticed that you started closing your room. Anything you wanted to tell me? Damn, it looks like I'm gonna have to use an excuse that I've already come up with just in case. I didn't want to use it. Edward, I'm a teenager, and teenagers have some things they shouldn't talk about. You understand? Are you jerking off? Yeah, man. Every day, every night. I try to stay healthy, try to stay young. Ed! Come on. Get an Uncle tease his nephew. Sometimes he acts like a child. What about the girl? Yeah, I mean, how could you not know? I tensed up. Does he know? Are there hidden cameras everywhere? Do you have one? I've never heard you say anything about it. I sighed with relief. I don't have a girlfriend, and however, I do not plan to start a relationship yet since studying already takes a lot of time. I think you need to relax sometimes. A girl would be nice. No, girls are such creatures that you waste your time on. I'd rather spend the next few years chasing my goals. That's crazy. It would have gone on like this if something hadn't happened a few days later that I was so afraid of. Who's that girl? Alice's story. Clive had to stay at school after school. He gave Alice the key card to the apartment and wanted her to return without it. Taking the key without further ado, Alice left. As she returned, entered the house, and started to take off her shoes, the light came on in the hallway and Edward came out of the hall. Well, hello, thief. Ah! Alice dropped the map Clyde had given her. Clive's key card. Are you his girlfriend? Huh, yes. Yes, I'm his girlfriend. And Clive told me that he doesn't have a girlfriend. So why'd you come without him? Well, Clive and I wanted to study at his house. He gave me the key saying you'd be out late. Edward pressed her with his gaze for a while. I see. Everything is clear with you. It seemed to Alice that the atmosphere became more tense. I hope you know that you should always carry condoms with you. I'm just kidding. Don't be embarrassed. Come on, I'll make you some tea. Alice sat at the table. Edward made 2 mugs of tea and set the table. So, how long have you been dating? About a month. Now it is clear whose dyed hair I noticed on the floor all month. Alice did not know what to say and only looked down at the tea in confusion. Do you often come here after school? Yes, Clive helps me with my lessons. How are you doing in school? So, not too well. I hope that's all right. Oh, of course, nothing. Grades don't mean much. The main thing is the person's personality, character, actions, and so on. I didn't do well at school myself, but that didn't stop me from going into business. And for some reason, Clive works so hard, spending all his free time doing it. He's such a strange boy, but not a bad one. Sometimes, though, I can't figure out what's going on in his head. Did he tell you about his parents? No. They committed a double suicide in front of him. What? What? Alice raised her eyes for the first time and looked at Edward. There was no longer a smile on his face, only a faint sadness. I feel like that's not something you drop on a girlfriend of 1 month without the boyfriend being there. I feel like that's not Kobe. I feel like we don't do I feel like we don't do that. After their death, I became Clive's guardian. He was only 7 years old at the time, and from then on, he became withdrawn and didn't look happy at all. Although before, when I came to visit my older brother, this boy was a fun guy. But from that moment, everything changed. I mean... I don't blame him. That's insane. Edward took a sip of tea. Alice could see by the tense expression on his face how hard it was for him to remember what had happened. When he was 12, he came from school one day and asked me how much I made. I don't know what happened to him that day, but after that, Clive started working hard. Studying distracted him from bad thoughts, and gradually he began to change for the better. He even started to smile occasionally at my jokes. When he was 15, I once said that teenagers should do something else besides study and sports. For starters, I suggested that he should, at least, just watch a series with me about some brilliant psychopath. Clive said that he liked the series very much and asked for advice on something similar. I gave him some books, and later he started looking for books and movies that he might like. Sometimes Clive tried to imitate the main characters of these works, however, all of his favorite characters are psychos. Anyway, he has a hobby, though it's strange. He didn't scare you, did he? Like brandishing a knife or something? Alice almost choked on her tea when she heard this. I feel like she would protect him. I feel like she's a little witch. No, nothing like that happened. Well, I thought so. Don't worry, it's just a joke. Their conversation was interrupted by the doorbell. Sit down, I'll open it. Clive's story. Edward, you're early. Well, I'm sorry for interrupting your upcoming sex. What? Alice came out into the corridor waving at me. Hi, Clive. Alice, damn it. Clive, don't be mad. I'm glad you have such a lovely girlfriend. Girlfriend? I looked at Alice, who immediately signaled that I should keep quiet. Understanding the situation, I decided to play along. Damn, I told her to keep quiet about our relationship. Come on, I won't even mind if she stays the night. After coming of age, I can't allow you to live here. I can even allow you to live here longer, but I still wanted to buy a separate apartment. Really? Alice, do you want to live at our house? Yes, I would love to. Wait. I quickly took off my shoes and dropped my jacket. Edward, I need to discuss something in private with her, if you don't mind. I took Alice's hand and went into the other room, slamming the door behind me. Are you crazy? Why didn't you hide when he came? He came before me. Does he know you live with me? No, Uncle Edward thinks that sometimes you bring me home after school while he's away. There was silence. So we need to pretend to be a couple in love. Clive, he let me live here. Let's ask him to let me live with you. No, Alice, he's just joking. But I don't want to pretend to be your boyfriend. Why? Because I didn't say anything, almost blurting out the words former victim. Because I'm a whore, right? No, I didn't mean that. Her eyes were red. Please don't cry. Edward is waiting for us, okay? Okay. She held back her tears. That night, my uncle allowed her to spend the night with us, joking that she could stay here forever. This time, she slept in a different room, and a month later, I finally slept alone. So quiet. The next day was Saturday. Edward went to work early as usual, and we stayed at the home. I need to wake Alice. Get up, sleepyhead. Alice opened her eyes, looked at me with sleepy eyes, then pulled the blanket tighter around her and lay on her side. Get up or I'll throw water on you. Men don't know how to act. Men don't know how to act. Bro. No. Even if you never get up and that thing that we're not saying it. It seems that I can only take drastic measures. Blackmail her with her food. Why are these the choices? I feel like we're not gonna re-traumatize her right now. That is not the move. Then I guess you won't mind if I eat your favorite Eggos? What? Don't you dare! She immediately stood up, the weakness of a sweet tooth. I didn't notice when we started talking again, except for the morning rise. Alice was the first to start the conversation. I think she's already forgiven me for stabbing her. That's crazy. She told me something at breakfast. Clive, I love you. I know. I continued to eat with an indifferent face. I understand that you're disgusted to date a girl who slept with other men for money, but after I was kidnapped, I gave it up. Please, give me a chance. It's not about that. You're just not my type. Not your type? Then why did you decide to kidnap me? I already explained, because you didn't talk to anyone in class. I was sure that the quiet girl would be the perfect victim. Fool. Yes, yes. She stood up and snuggled up behind me. I could feel her breasts against my back. Please let me eat in peace. So you're gay. So you're gay. No. Any guy wouldn't mind being hugged like that by a girl. It's just that I'm different from normal guys. I'm built different. I'm built different. I'm different from normal guys. I'm a vampire. Because you're gay? No. Then you're impotent. Damn. Damn. Also incorrect. I understand that you want to become a monk. In response, I just didn't say anything. She was behind me, but only for a short time. Clive, one day I will seduce you and you will be mine. That's crazy. That's crazy. No. No. Well, good luck. I can recommend suitable literature. Fool. Fool. That's so Victorian of her. Fool! You fool! I didn't want to admit it, but I like spending time with her. I'm glad that we have started communicating again. And yet, she's not my type. I don't want a relationship to go any further than friendship. If Alice wants to seduce me, then I will do my best to prevent it. One day she'll come to terms with it, and then we'll just be friends. Shoot. Oh, I was supposed to do something differently, I guess? Okay. That's the end! That's the way I feel like... that was the better ending of the two, because them falling in love was just not it. It was just not it. Alright, that was Kidnap Girl. Thank you for joining me on this wild ride. Glad we could do that together. I'm glad it was over. One and done, one video. We never have to revisit this again. We never have to talk about it again. In fact, you know what? This never happened. This never happened. This never happened. Do you understand me? This never happened, and we will never speak of it again. Thank you for watching. Bye.